It's also the
don't-
same for Maggie, too.
Yeah, and exactly. I feel like they're trying to do the same thing, like turn her darker, and I don't like that either.
I think the stuff with Maggie is that you can't when you have these two characters that are so diametrically opposed in their viewpoints, like very clearly, obviously, Negan has to have the responsibility and take responsibility for the fact that he killed Glenn, not just Glenn, but a number of other people. Yeah. But in specific to Maggie, killed Glenn, the father of Herschel's father. The father of Herschel's baby would not have worked. Herschel's father. You take these two characters that I mentioned are so opposed to one another in their views. In order for them to work well together, you kind of have to bridge that a little bit and make them meet somewhere in the middle. And it's easy to do with Negan in that because he's so evil, so you give him good points to kind of bring him in towards the middle. So, but in order to make that bridge and not make it be as one way as it could be with just making Negan, because I don't think making Negan fully good is like that. No. It wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked as well. Negan still has to have those points that give you, not just give him conflict as a character, but give us conflict as an audience in rooting for him, because you have to be conflicted about that. And as much as I love Negan as a character, I've made this point known every episode. I am conflicted in rooting for him because I know what he's done.
Yes.
I'm not 100% Team Negan.
No.
But again, to bridge that gap and make it not a one-way street, you have to do that to Maggie. You have to give her a little bit of that darkness. You have to have those points where Negan points out, you've killed husbands and fathers too, which is the truth.
Yeah. Yes, and that was a good point. I did like that line.
Yeah.
I thought it made her think.
But, now you give her this whole element of finding Ginny's dinosaur and burning, or maybe burning it. We don't know if she did yet or not.
You should take odds on it.
5-1. She did not burn the dinosaur. But you give her that dark element, and as I mentioned, like if she did that, she's basically letting Ginny out to the slaughter because of her own selfishness to keep Negan on her side. And that gives Maggie that little bit of darkness. That kind of helps to bridge that gap between the two of them. They don't have to meet exactly in the middle, but they have to work in each other's direction in order for this partnership to work.
That makes sense.
So, but I get it. I'm with you on the fact that I don't want the Croat to be humanized.
I know. I want a big bad. Like I don't know.
I want to see the big bad go down
for them. Yeah, I want them to team up to take down the big bad.
Yeah, I want to root for the big bad going down.
Yes,
literally being thrown off the Statue of Liberty. Like,
yeah, just like in Die Hard. Instead, this time the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, I want to root for the death of the big bad. I don't want to feel conflicted about it.
Yeah, I can see him falling down just like
from the torch, right?
Yeah.
Or the crown, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
The king falls from from his crown.
That's a good one.
Called it. Another theory. Moving on. God, if that happens, I'm going to be like, I predicted half the show.
And then Negan walks away with a souvenir of a Statue of Liberty as he rows away.
I mentioned this earlier. Like, if there's any one place, being a fan of New York and a lover of New York City, if there's any place I would go, it would be Liberty Island.
Yeah.
Because you're surrounded by water.
Yeah.
It's a small area that you can clear of walkers, and then you have basically a fort.
Yeah, well, also, if you think about it, too, to refer back to Escape from New York, Liberty Island was used as like a security office to monitor Manhattan Island.
Yeah.
Because it was a prison. So in this case, it could be the same thing, and it could be for the Croats people, or it could be a whole section of other people that are surviving that are providing for the Croat, maybe. Because how are they going to fend for themselves? Did they bring a bunch of animals and make farm there or something? We
You
don't
could.
know.
I mean, there's a lot of open land there. There's enough open land there that you could set up for farming. And I think that's a good possibility that if we do end up seeing the Statue of Liberty in this series before it's over, sometime in the next 2 episodes, I mean, there could be a good reason why boats always get sunk. And that's because the Croats people are the only ones with boats. They're the ones that need them. They're the ones that are going back and forth. And Liberty Island would be a hell of a fallback point.
Yep.
To get to.
And Ellis Island too, because Ellis Island's not too far from there, and that's a big island too as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like the 2 of those islands together could be fortified, and there's no way you're getting on them. If they're fortified, there's no way you're getting in.
Yeah,
not without boats.
Not to step away from Liberty Island and all that good talk, but we should concentrate on what was going on in Madison Square Garden. And that encounter within, let's use that as a point of reference to talk about within this episode.
We were going to get to it.
Now we are.
It's his turn.
That's great. Like, just cut off every other point we were making to dive into Madison Square Garden.
Why not? It's the best place on earth.
It is. Look, I love Madison Square Garden. But Madison Square Garden is kind of a dump.
It is.
Sorry to anybody who lives in New York and goes to Madison Square Garden a lot. Again, I've been there more times than I can count. I've seen WrestleManias, concerts, I've attended Hall of Fame ceremonies in that place. Madison Square Garden is a dump.
It is a dump.
Compared to other arenas, it's a dump. But it's a lovable dump because it is a point of pride in New York City.
Correct.
So, but go for it. You started leading the path. Let's take the wheel and drive, my friend.
Well, the funniest is that we get in there and it's a total setup. Negan goes one way, they go their own way, and it's a cutoff. They get obviously ambushed by walkers thrown in at them from the Croat and his crew. And of all things, and I still laugh at it because I noticed it last episode, of course, when they threw Pearly in there, and it's an octagon from like UFC.
Yeah.
They left it there, and I'm curious what last show was playing. That was what's going through my mind when I'm watching. It's like, what was the last show that played before the apocalypse hit that had the octagon in there?
It could have been like UFC 151,000. I don't know.
I know, but regardless, it's utilized as a point of usage this time because I'm still trying to figure out Ginny's magic trick of how she just shows up in the middle of it and we don't really see her go into it. How did she sneak in there? Did you recall seeing her?
She was with Maggie. I think she just snuck in while they were all fighting.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. I was just led to believe that she just kind of was following very closely behind all of them. Anything that you're following. You're basically following a mini army at this point. They're clearing the way. She's just following in the footsteps. And it seems like she's been doing that a lot already to the point where I think it was totally believable that she followed them in there. Yeah. She doesn't know what's in there. She's just following them because this is where they're going. So I don't know how I do fall with you a little bit how she just miraculously landed in the middle of the octagon. And nobody noticed her until Maggie turned around and noticed her in there. Like that, I'm with you on that. But I just don't know. I don't know anything else about that.
Right. Was anyone else waiting for Maggie to say it's a trap? Like I was waiting for it. I wanted to hear someone.
So I was actually very curious about that because for a little while I started thinking about, I'm like, oh, is this a trap or is this part of the plan that they're going to leave Madison Square Garden and just make it so nobody else can use it after they're gone? So I
think it was a trap.
Oh, I absolutely believe it was a trap now. And what made me believe it was a trap was all of a sudden with all of them in there, with the tribespeople in there fighting all the walkers, the music playing wasn't a trap because they've done that before. They do that constantly.
Yeah, but I think it was to pull because.
Well, no. So this time I do. This time it was part of the trap, but the music itself was not a trap because they do that often.
To lure
that's how they lured them in. Like even when they're a couple episodes ago when they're looking down at Madison Square Garden, you can hear that music. It's part of the plan that they probably play it once a day, and it lures more walkers there so that they can utilize them as fuel. What set it off to me as not being a trap was it was lighted. It was lit. They had all like the spotlights going.
Yeah.
This is a show.
Yeah.
For the Croat. That was what made me believe, okay, this was a trap. He knew this was happening. So, because again, playing that music to lure the walkers in and then blowing the doors to let walkers in could have been a plan so that nobody could use that venue when they were done, when they leave. Nobody can use our setup. This was ours. Now nobody can use it because we're gone. But when you turn on the lighting, I was like, nope, this was part of a play for a trap.
I think he did it because he knew like Negan would be coming because he was, as soon as he heard the whistle, he knew Negan was there. And so she put in the disc and it started the timer.
Well, here's a good question now. Do you think that they will go back to MSG, or do you think they'll move back to a different...
they're going to a different location.
Different location, okay.
MSG's done.
I was going to say.
You can't fortify it anymore.
Yeah.
You've blown away every entrance, and you've let in, if not thousands of walkers. That there's no way. Like, that place is shot.
Yeah.
I do like the fact, though, again, being somebody who's gone to New York City many times, I do like the fact that their way into Madison Square Garden was Penn Station.
Yes.
Because anybody if you have not been to New York before or visited Madison Square Garden, you can go right into Madison Square Garden from Penn Station. You do not have to walk out into the city.
Mm-hmm. It's right around the corner from Penn Station.
It's under Madison. Penn Station is under Madison Square Garden.
Oh, I used to come off on the other ramp then. I used a different exit point to get and walk around.
I was going to ask, like, what was the significance of the sign that Maggie looked at? I'm trying to remember
what in the subway?
Yeah.
That was
just showing the location.
That was showing the location of where they were walking to, which shows like through Penn Station. It's the railroad tracks. It's the
subway
tracks. Yeah, it's subway tracks.
Yep. And as I mentioned, Penn Station is directly under Madison Square Garden. So you can go up into Madison Square Garden. And what's funny too is like I didn't even think about that. I'm like, oh yeah, they can just go right up into Madison Square Garden from Penn Station. They don't have to go through those front doors.
Yeah,
there are other ways in.
There's like a front and a back area, especially from the subway that I recall. The funniest though I found about the whole Madison Square Garden setup, where Negan was hiding in the back where the loading dock area is. It's an enclosed area. Now, mind you, the loading areas on the sides and around the sides of Madison Square Garden, they're very open and they're deep down. Like it's like a long ramp down, angling down in, and it's very open. It's not an enclosed area, so that you can tell that was done elsewhere. But I'm still curious about that shiv that he got out of the taxi. Did he use that again? I don't recall.
I don't think he uses it. I think he had it as a plan to take out the Croat.
Okay.
I don't know where he got it. I think we're just meant to believe it's just one of the weapons that he found along the way. I don't think there was any significance to it.
Okay.
I could be totally wrong about that. And if I am, please let us know in feedback next week. But I don't think there was any significance to that. Okay. Because Maggie had one too. Maggie was ready to use one to hotwire the cab. Until she realized the keys were in it. You know, because there's even that moment where she looks down and she's like, oh, yeah, keys. Because they're not used to that.
Yeah.
I mean, everything they've
When was
done,
the last time they had keys? Right?
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. Everything's been like hot wired or arranged or finagled in some way to start. They've never had the situation probably in this entire time where there's just keys in here.
They're under the visor, like in Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, yeah. So
that was all I had.
That was Mark's hijacked note.
Yep.
No,
Somebody else hijack it.
No, it was totally his turn. Look, anybody who's never heard Mark and I podcast before know that this is par for the course with Mark and I when it comes to podcasting.
Yes.
Let's see. We got a little bit more about Negan regretting the person he used to be. And, this is leading more and more towards that redemption arc because we get that, or teasing us with a little bit more of a potential. I don't think we're ever going to get a full redemption from Negan. And no. I kind of actually hope we don't. I feel like the only way Negan would be fully redeemed is in a sacrifice. And I've made this point before too. Sacrificing himself for Herschel, sacrificing himself for Maggie, sacrificing himself for Ginny, somebody. The only way Negan will be fully redeemed is in a sacrifice. I'm okay if that happens. I'm also okay if he's not fully redeemed. I'm okay either way because I am a fan of the character. So I would be conflicted if Negan ever dies because I get it. He deserves it. But I also like the Negan that he is now in trying to find redemption and redeem himself. But going back to my point and how we kind of get a little bit about that too, Maggie asks him, like, are you ready? And he fully says, no, I'm not ready. Not because I'm afraid, but not because of, I think he does say not because I'm afraid, but he's worried about meeting the Croat face to face again because he's then reminded he sees a reflection of a person that he used to be in that.
Yeah. He actually says that. Yeah.
So for him to regret, for him to say something like that, he is full of regret. He knows the horrible person that he was. And at least coming to terms with that is a potential good step forward for Negan in finding that redemption. He knows who he was. He knows the bad things that he did. Is there ever a potentially chance that he can make up for all of it? Hell no. It'll never happen. But the fact that he's aware of it and he's afraid of it is the biggest point. The fact that he's afraid of facing who he was.
He doesn't want to go back to that.
Exactly. And I was a big fan of that moment when he said that, like that's a song I don't ever want to sing again. Like he's coming to terms. I think he already has in many ways, but he's more coming to terms with the person he used to be. And he's afraid to face it. And seeing the Croat and being one-on-one with the Croat is facing it. Because he knows what the monster the Croat has become. He knows, yes, he was insane when he met him, but he's also responsible for who he is.
Yeah, he played a part in it.
He played a part in it. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. So that was another moment that I had written down, was that when he talks about that and, just not wanting to revisit that part of himself. I think that shows a lot of growth in Negan's character. Kelly, anything else on your end?
Like going back to the whole like trap part, I just feel like, I don't know. To me, that whole scene kind of felt a little bit like it was out of fear.
Oh God. Oh. It's
so maybe that's why I didn't like.
At least there wasn't a wrestling match going on between people and zombies in this movie. This show.
Well, and I mean, I guess like with Tommaso showing back up, to save them, like, because I don't know, he either has to be bitten or it's just.
I think Tommaso's been bitten.
Yeah,
I really do.
If he's been bitten, then I'll probably be okay with it, even though I like him and don't want him to die. But
yeah.
I just don't think he could.
I think he probably has been bitten. Otherwise, it's a hide under a dumpster moment for me, in that he got away from it way too easy when the odds were that stacked against them. I'm with you on that one. I kind of, as much as I don't like to see Tommaso die because I like the character, I kind of want him to reveal he's been bitten because then you can kind of write that scene off a little bit more. Again, it's too easy if he wasn't, and he's just fine.
Yeah.
It did look like at one moment he does have some scratches on his neck. So he is not completely unscathed. It's just a matter of whether or not he really, truly survived it. Because he may have gotten out of it, but if he's been bitten, he didn't survive it.
Yeah.
It's going to come back and get to him. And I'm very curious to see if that's what they do with him as well. So I'm with you on that one.
And the music playing kind of gave it almost like a comedy feel, but then they're having these overwhelming odds. I don't know. It just did give me some vibes of fear.
I kept hearing that song and I'm like, it's the same song. This has been happening for 20 minutes and it's the same song.
Did you recognize the song in any way?
No, not at all.
It sounded to me like a foreign anthem, but who knows if it was a Croatian anthem that they had that he purposely put in or what? Who knows?
I mean, it definitely could. So you were actually right. I just looked it up as we were talking. The song the Croat blasts in this episode is Propkat Cezora by a Croatian recording artist. So good call on that. It actually was a foreign song and it was Croatian like the Croat.
Okay.
So, good call. But yeah, I mean, again, like Kelly, if they wanted to make it more comedic, they could have been just playing the Benny Hill theme on repeat.
Or the, National Lampoon's, vacation song, Holiday Road.
As long as
let's just go Easy Street.
It's okay. I was just going to say, as long as it's not Easy Street, because Gemma and Cassie and I talked about that last week, that we were almost half expecting the record the Croat played to be Easy Street. And then I apologize to everybody who listened last week that the fact that I played Easy Street at the end of the recording as a little Easter egg. I apologize if that earworm got embedded in your head again. But I did it for fun, so sorry, not sorry. But yeah, I'm with you on that. It was it's sad when we kind of get to a point where things that seem so unrealistic, we refer to them as Fear the Walking Dead-ish.
Yeah.
No.
We did that last week with Ginny rowing across the Hudson in a cooler. I was like, I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't paying real close attention. I didn't even realize it was a cooler until you guys were talking about it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I was like,
that ruined it for me. That too until you guys mentioned it, and I was like, no beer balloons.
It was an igloo. Yeah, it's on the equivalent of a beer balloon, pretty much. Yeah. Mark, how about you?
That was all I had as far as ideas, thoughts, and notes.
Okay. Going through mine, I think the only other thing so the beginning of the confrontation between Negan and the Croat, when we've talked about this scene already a little bit in the scene where the Croat is talking to the girl in the audio production room, and then all of a sudden we hear the whistle. We hear Negan's whistle, and we know the Croat knows what it is, and we could see it on his face that he recognizes it because he does the same whistle. And it was in that moment that when that happened, I was like, oh, shit's about to go down now. We're going to see these two duke it out. And then I was a little disappointed that we didn't get it. Yeah. Again, it's only episode 4. There's 2 more episodes left. So I should have been fully expecting that we weren't going to get it. But I was still a little disappointed that we didn't get it. So hopefully when we do finally get it, it's going to be good. But it could also be a lead into a second season. So it could also be a confrontation that has no resolution. Because it's a tease for a second season. But we'll see. Because again, if we do see more I'm to the point now where if we do see a second season of this and we do see more of this, I'm okay with it because I'm enjoying what this series is and what it's been. I just don't want to see this become a series where the big bad changes every season. Here comes a new big bad, or here comes a new big, we've taken care of this guy. But how many big bads can you have in Manhattan? I realize it's a big city, but come on.
There's only one Duke in New York. He's number 1. That's the Croat.
Well, I mean, top of the list. Hey, number one.
Yep.
I plan on using that song at some point too. I was actually saving it for the finale. So I want to see a good confrontation between the two, and I'm open to a second season, but I kind of hope the Croat is literally just a lead-in, and there is a resolution to their fight, which sets up what this series is going to become in future seasons. I'm okay with the Croat being a one and done villain for this, just to give us a reason to bring these characters into New York, and then setting up somebody new for seasons 2, 3, 4, whatever.
Yeah.
The same villain for the next couple seasons, if it goes the next couple seasons. I don't think it needs to go the same length that The Walking Dead proper did.
No.
I don't need 11 years in Manhattan. Like I'm
yeah, probably 1 or 2 would be good.
Yeah, and if this went for 2 or 3 seasons total, I'm okay with it. And then give us a wrap up. But we'll see. Kelly, and that's actually all for me. Kelly, do you have anything else on your list that you wanted to bring up now that Mark and I are finished? Oh, I do have one more thing, but I'll let you do yours.
Oh, I mean, not really. I think Negan's been talked about enough. We don't really need to rehash anything on him.
In that case, I do have one more thing, and it's the other line that I liked.
Okay.
Maggie tells that story about the guy upstairs with the harmonica.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she says that it got to the point where she finally went upstairs, took the harmonica out, and buried it somewhere outside so that she couldn't find it. And then she says to Negan, Negan says some kind of comment about it, and she turns and says, "You would have buried it somewhere else." That line, when you think about it, you know where that is. He would have buried it up Otis's ass.
Yeah.
Like that, because that's who Negan is. Like, he would have shoved it up his ass. And that, I know that's exactly what Maggie was referring to. Mm-hmm. She was just keeping it very PG for the sake of the conversation.
And if it was Negan, he would probably go into a whole rock kind of dialogue and turn it sideways and shove it up his candy ass.
Oh, when you said rock, I thought you would have meant like rock star kind of.
Nope, The Rock.
Well, I don't think The Rock exists in this world, so I don't know if it would have. I think he would have made some kind of joke about farting toots or something like that, but like I don't know. I would have put nothing past Negan at this point. So any final notes from either one of you?
Nope.
On this.
Like, I'm not really liking Armstrong. I'm still not invested in him.
I'm with you. I'm not sold on Pearlie.
And
I've been saying this for the past couple episodes. I feel like he's a character. If you took him completely out of this story, it wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Nobody's going to be looking for him, I don't think.
And like, did anyone notice the limp? Like when they were leaving, he was limping with the wrong leg. He couldn't figure his weight on the injured leg. Dead. I'm like, what?
I did not notice that. Okay. I'm definitely going to go back and look now.
And then in the next scene, he's limping with the correct leg. I'm like, okay, well, at least they changed it.
Oh, that's a big continuity mistake on their point.
Or somebody just didn't fix the lens shift because they had it backwards.
Awesome. Oh, because he was walking away. Yeah, I don't know. It just...
I don't know either. Cool. So then with that being said, we are going to take a short little break, and it is time for the news.
Infected news.
I still love that that's the clip that we play.
I like it.
I love it. I miss Eric.
Is that Eric? I was going to say that.
Yeah, it was Mr. Blog.
Mr. Blog. 2 very quick stories, and like before, I'm not really going to go into too much depth in these. And actually, now that I'm reading this story, I forgot it's something we didn't talk about. This is from Entertainment Weekly. Jeffrey Dean Morgan reacts to Negan and Lucille being reunited. And he quotes directly, "It was just awesome to have on the leather jacket and have Lucille in my hand." But it was the scene that started off the episode that has everybody talking. The episode surprisingly began with a flashback to the sanctuary. That meant we saw Negan in full Negan 1.0 mode, complete with his trademark leather jacket and barbed wire baseball bat. In the flashback scene, if this flashback scene enthused fans, it excited the actor even more. He's quoted as saying, "I was so happy," he tells EW, "it was just awesome to have on the leather jacket and have Lucille in my hand. I can't tell you how much I miss her. There's something about holding that bat in a scene that makes me feel whole." Morgan talks about Negan's bat the way that an actor usually refers to a human scene partner. He explains that the inanimate object helped inform his performance when he first joined the Walking Dead franchise in the season 6 finale. It's quoted saying, "There is a relationship that I will forever have with that piece of wood wrapped in barbed wire. That I will have is Jeff. It's incredibly special because for whatever reason, on that first day when Negan comes out of the trailer and the first couple days that we shot, I really bonded in an odd way to this object. And it indicated so much of what I did as an actor. It indicated the lean back. It indicated so much of the physicality of who Negan was just by holding it. Everything kind of stemmed from that bat." So that was kind of cool to see that he kind of got a little bit of a kick of just having Lucille again.
Yeah.
And
kind of surprises me with how he kind of views Negan now.
I get him. I get what he's talking about though, from an actor's perspective of, how it encouraged the lean and like the physicality of it, because it's at that point, it's an extension of Negan. So it has to be incorporated into the character. So, I thought that was just kind of fun to hear his reaction to actually being about it. And then the other story I have is The Walking Dead Dead City brings back deceased character for surprise cameo. And we already know who that is because we've talked enough about him in this episode. Last year, The Walking Dead came to its end after 11 seasons, but the franchise is living on with its various spin-offs. Currently, The Walking Dead Dead City, which is one of them. While the spinoff will mostly be following new characters introduced alongside Negan and Maggie, appearances from older Walking Dead characters, even dead ones, are still possible. This is what happened in the 4th episode of Dead City. The episode featured a flashback sequence that delved back into Negan's past before the battle between the Saviors and Rick's group. Mostly, the flashback was written to provide some more context to the relationship between Negan and the Croat, but going back in time provided the opportunity for characters who were around back then to appear. Enter Simon, Negan's former right-hand man, played by Stephen Ogg. Per Screen Rant, the scene saw Simon stepping up as Negan's most trusted lieutenant after clashing with the Croat over the child. And then they make some predictions as to what other characters we might see turn back up in the world of The Walking Dead. But that's about it.
I wonder if that means there will be more in this.
I don't necessarily know if we'll see any more in Dead City, but I wouldn't be surprised to see... I wouldn't say we're going to see any in Daryl. It's a completely different country.
I know that. I'm just thinking flashbacks that he would reflect on certain things, but that's about it.
Maybe that's where Carl comes in.
The article does go on though, and this is kind of interesting as well, especially because I haven't watched it yet. Watching dead characters return provides a whole new meaning to the name The Walking Dead. There will be other opportunities to bring back characters in the franchise beyond showing up in Dead City as well. Reportedly, a Tales of the Walking Dead follow-up is in the planning stages, and the anthology series spin-off could bring back characters from years past for standalone prequel stories. Scott Gimble is quoted saying, "I will say that for Tales of the Walking Dead, my plan was to have a lot more of the old characters on there. I hope we get to do that. I hope we get to do that eventually and really, really do want to get these other characters and other mythologies and other situations. So I'm hoping these are the first." But in reverse, I mean, again, that could also mean we could see some Tales of the Walking Dead people appear in some of these Walking Dead spinoffs.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Tales of the Walking Dead yet. I want to, but I don't know whose character he plays and if he survives. But if Terry Crews pops up somewhere, I'm happy because I love Terry Crews.
Yeah,
I'm such a Terry Crews fan. By the way, just off the topic, if you haven't if he's got a book that he wrote called Tough, it's all about his life and his upbringing. If you haven't read it, read it. It is. Or just listen to the audiobook read by Terry. The book's amazing. My recommendation for the week. Now it's the Revisited podcast. Sorry. But that brings us, now that news is wrapped up, that brings us into listener feedback, which is our listeners' moan, groans, and grunts. I am actually going to kick things off this week in our first one, which comes from Sean. And he says, in all of the Walking Dead universe, that has to be my favorite flashback so far. When they were initially walking through the tunnels, I thought we were going to get a Herschel moment with the ankle bite. I think Negan is getting closer and closer to coming back from what he did as a survivor. Or as a savior. It's very clear it's very clear he's a changed man. Pearlie is getting worse and worse as a character. I agree. He'd be dead if it wasn't for the guy he's now trying to arrest. Thanks for the coverage every week. Can't wait to hear this episode. Sean, I agree with so many of those points. Pearlie is the worst.
Yeah.
He really is. Like, again, take him out of the story and it doesn't change anything.
He'll die of gout.
Kelly, why don't you take the next one?
Okay. Gemma Hall says, I loved this episode. I had sweaty palms and my heart was racing. I do know that Negan and Maggie were probably safe, but I was worried for the Marshal, Ginny, and the other survivors like Tommaso. The Negan and Croat scene was so tense and all the whistling. I screamed when I saw Simon. Good callback and cameo, and I liked they showed how Negan was disgusted by the Croat. I loved all the zombie action and gore too. I think the Croat knew that Negan would save Pearlie. Nothing with him is coincidental. But I loved seeing Negan save him. Man, I wish I could talk about this episode with you all.
Gemma, you were great last week. I very much enjoyed having you on. But yeah, thank you, Gemma, for that. Yeah, I'll just say it again. Pearlie's the worst.
I agree.
I'm just gonna continue
Say
with
that every time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna capture that as a sound clip and add it to my soundboard. Pearlie's the worst. Mark.
Next up, Matthew. I'm going to say either Tyndall or Tyndall because it's Tyndall. So he starts saying, "Hi, just started listening to your podcast a few months ago. I've always been a Walking Dead fan, so I wish I knew about you guys years ago. Well, now you heard of us and you could go to the backlog. I've already enjoyed Dead City so far, but the last episode has reintroduced something that has really annoyed me from the other shows. How do these people not know how to tactically fight zombies this far into the zombie apocalypse? I feel like the showrunners just want to shoot scenes with people getting mobbed by zombies, and in an episode Insider at the end of the showrunner even states how he had a vision for the scene where they are all around the octagon. Yeah, because it's a battle royale. They could have easily went into the seating and used the aisles to make choke points, or at the worst, went straight into the cage to funnel through the door. This also has the benefit of using dead bodies to further hinder the remaining zombies as they come at you. I get if you're in a wide open flat area and surrounded, but this series continually makes characters do stupid things, so as to make zombies continue to be a major threat when they really aren't. Am I the only one that thinks about these things? And no, Matthew, you are not. Yeah. I had one thought when they were actually within Madison Square Garden. Well, most of those Zeds are very slow. They could run past them and go up the middle aisles. If you see there are stairs there, they could go up through and then go down where the concession areas are and then go back down to where the other stairs are to get outside of the Madison Square Garden. I think your thoughts are valid.
Yes.
I think you're all taking this entirely too seriously.
I know.
I know. We're not just enjoying it for a big fight.
No offense, Matthew, whatsoever. I think
I agree with you, Matthew.
I think you're taking this. More specifically, Mark, what you just said, like you could have done this and this and this. And
I know.
I think you're taking this way too seriously.
Yeah, I know.
I think they just hesitated too long.
You got to suspend your disbelief.
Like
that's all.
And here's the other thing too. Like thinking tactily is something that usually takes pre-planning. When you are caught in a moment, there's always going to be a moment of panic that kind of prevents you from thinking that way and thinking
the
like
fight or flight.
Yes, exactly. Your fight or flight kicks in, and you don't really have the opportunity to kind of make those kind of tactile decisions or tactical decisions, because you don't have the time to process that. It's like, we got to get the hell out of here right now. What are we going to do? You don't have the opportunity to freeze time and say, okay, well, we can go this way. Let's go around this guy. I'll knock this guy over into these people. That'll prevent that. Like, you don't have that time.
You sound like George Carlin right there.
I that's what I was going for.
I'm going to hit the guy with the fuck you hat.
Step on the widow's head.
And to be fair, Maggie was almost out, but then she spotted Ginny. So if she hadn't have wanted to protect Ginny, she probably would have gone out.
And that's a good point as well. Like, Maggie,
she has that tactical mind.
She's done enough of this that she could have gotten around it. Meanwhile, Amaya and Tommaso and the rest of them are in there fighting because they don't have that. They don't have that tactical maneuverability or such. See, now I'm going too far into it, and I'm getting sucked into it.
Now you can open the door and let help others leave.
Step on the widow's head, go around the fat fuck.
Well, there was
get out of the plane where I can help others.
When they were walking through the subway, I couldn't understand why they didn't like just stab the zombies instead of like risking like falling into them. I figured somebody would fall. Because it wouldn't have been hard. They weren't hardly moving.
Yeah, I don't know. But we do have one more. And this one comes from Lily from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. She says, Hi, you guys. Just wanted to quickly mention the possibility that perhaps Maggie made a deal with the Croat. Is she actually bringing Negan to the Croat for some sort of trade? Is Herschel just collateral? And also, can I just say, I hope to goodness that we don't have some sort of spinoff with Herschel and Ginny as a couple. I truly thought the show might go there, but since we are left with only 2 episodes, I think we might be safe from any love interest of teenagers trapped in the hands of the Croat. Love the podcast and appreciate the intelligent thought lines. Oh, thanks. The possibility that perhaps Maggie made a deal with the Croat. And I
kind of like that theory.
That's an interesting theory. I like it.
I don't know that I like it, but I could see it being.
And the whole plan was to bring Negan
to the Croat.
I don't.
Except for he seemed surprised when Armstrong mentioned him.
That's what I was going to go with. I like the idea, and it would be a great plot twist for the finale.
Yes.
But yeah, the fact that he was surprised to hear Negan's name come out of Armstrong's mouth, I think kind of throws that out the window. You don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe it is still the case, and that's what's going to happen. And again, it would be incredibly interesting if it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I buy that. It's a good thought, though.
But, good fan fiction.
Yeah. But that leads us, of course. What would a podcast be without a live Steving?
I'm excited. My first time.
So your first live Steving.
Oh, yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Really?
But that leads us to a voicemail from our friend Steve Brown.
Hello, the cast of us. This is Steve, and this is for Everybody Wins a Prize. Is that right? Wait. Oh, are we going to get to see the origins of the Croat? Is this a flashback to the Sanctuary? Oh, and Stephen Ogg. Miss him. Oh, so Negan hid Luther's body somehow. By the way, I have to say thank you for saying about the spike that he fell on, because I totally missed that in my watch last week. Well, that's right. She had matches. She had Negan's matches, so maybe she did burn the dinosaur. Okay, that was a rather quick stroll through the sewer around all the zombie bodies, but okay, I guess they made it into the arena. Oh, she said the title of the episode, Everybody Wins a Prize. Mic drop. I thought that's what he was putting in his bag, the beeswax from Luther. Uh-oh, the Negan whistle. The keys are just in the car, in the taxi. I love it. And now Maggie has seen Jenny, and she's running after her. Uh-oh. So the Czech choir is singing, and now the Croat is blowing up his arena? I don't understand. Oh, it's a trap for them. Oh, not Tommaso. Come on. We were just getting to like that guy. Okay, now they're locked in the cage, but how are they going to get out still? Okay, that's pretty good, using the ring pads to maybe get out of this arena. Okay. Oh, Tommaso made it. Nice. Croat really has a lot of information, even calling Maggie the widow and talking about Jerome, told him about the war with Sanctuary in Alexandria and Hilltop and Kingdom, but it doesn't track how he would know all this. Well, how do the walkers even know they're in this room? How did Pearlie and Negan get out of the arena? Weren't they in Madison Square Garden? Weren't they in the arena? I don't understand. I guess they didn't get into the sewers. They came in through some other way, but now they have to go out through the sewers, which was supposedly too dangerous before, right? Okay, this one's going to definitely take another watch because it just ends right there with Maggie going down the ladder into the sewers and Negan's being held at what weapon did Pearlie have? All right, can't wait to hear you guys talk about this one.
Thank you, Steve. Steve brings up a very good point in something that he mentioned when he says, how do the zombies know that they're in there? Like they're in that room. So they're on the arena floor. And this is a little bit of, again, this is me nitpicking because of somebody, and Mark, you'll probably be able to attest to this too, as somebody who's been to Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
To get to the concourse for the main floor, you have to go up a number of escalators.
Yes.
To get there. It is not like a lot of other arenas where you walk in and then you walk directly onto the main concourse. That's not how Madison Square Garden is built.
It's a lot of walking when the escalators are not running too.
Yes. Like you have to go through when you enter into Madison Square Garden, you enter into this big open area where like ticketing stalls are everything in. But to get to the floor where the show is at, you have to go up a number of floors to get into the arena. And even then, you don't walk out onto the bottom floor.
No, it's at the top.
Yeah, you enter in from the top. So there's a little. I can let it go because it's a television show. Yeah. But if I was being really nitpicky, like the zombies should have come in from the top and come down.
Yes,
they did have some coming in from the top, but
most of them came in through.
Yeah. That's why I think it was pre-planned as a trap. Like they probably
they came from the loading area, like it was a P.T. Barnum and Bailey circus with all the elephants coming out.
Yeah. So I mean, again, it's just being really nitpicky. It doesn't affect my thoughts on the show. Yeah. This is just me as somebody coming from somebody who loves New York City and has been to Madison Square Garden. Like that's not how they would have come in.
Yeah.
If you blew the front doors, that's not how it would have happened. But it is what it is.
And you could hear us talk about the Flash 2023 and what a disaster it was.
I kind of enjoyed that movie.
I did too, but you got to listen to the podcast to understand where I come from with it.
You mentioned Big Trouble in Little China. Just a quick little side note. I met James Pax this weekend.
Oh, cool.
Who plays Lightning.
Awesome.
In Big Trouble in Little China. He's one of the three elementals.